Subtracting polynomials. Charlie's back asleep. I like the picture here where he's looking quite keen and ready to go. He actually doesn't think that adding and subtracting polynomials is very interesting. Okay, but I'm sure you feel differently. So let's start with adding. Remember, polynomial, we've learned it before, is just a letter, I don't know, it's a math sentence. A polynomial is a math sentence, okay? And we're going to add polynomials. And pretty much the steps I just have there. 1, remove the bracket. 2, CLT means collect like terms. Okay? So first, when you're adding is really easy. You can imagine subtracting is more complicated, but adding is really easy. So get rid of those brackets. That leaves me with, like everything but the brackets there. The next thing I do is I just move things over so that I have, like this plus comes down here with the, I'm going to write that down. This plus follows the 3x to come over here. This 9 plus in front of the 9 comes over here to follow it, and that 2 stays. Everything's plus in this one, so it can't really be much easier. Can't really mess it up. But putting them together, 2x plus 3x is 5x's, and 9 plus 2 is 11. So that's it. That's an easy example. Be grateful if you see that one on a test. But let's look at another one. And what if you have a negative term? So this is almost the same, but now I have negative 9 and negative 2. So let's go ahead. The beauty is really it's the exact same. Excuse me. So what have I done here? I got rid of the brackets, and that's it in this first step. You see it's all the exact same. The brackets are gone. Just here, when I collect, remember that the sign of the number or the letter or whatever it is has to follow. So this is minus, so that minus has to follow here. This positive has to follow there, and this minus has to follow here. So the number has to follow, the sign has to follow it. Okay? And did you hear that? That was my dog snoring. 5x, anyways, that leads to 5x, and then minus 9 minus 2 is minus 11. Okay? Looking at more complicated, or are we on subtract yet? Nope, we're still on adding. Okay, so this one's just a bit different because this one's negative. But actually it doesn't really change the thing. You get rid of the brackets first. See, nothing's changed. Maybe you'll notice this, like plus minus, right? And I got rid of that plus. The reason I got rid of the plus is that adding a negative is the same as subtracting, right? So just left it as just a subtract, okay? So that's the only thing to really notice in that one. That plus minus is just minus. And then this stays the same. Nothing happens there. And collect the like terms, and you end up with negative x this time, okay? All right, here we go, subtracting. I'm just going to maybe open this up so you can look at the, here we go. So we're looking at subtracting polynomials now, and it is more difficult. And what I'm going to show you in this first example is like theoretically what you're doing. And then after this, we're going to leave it to the simple step, the simple rule. It's not hard, it's just that it's different. The thing is, similar to adding integers, if you're subtracting 5, kind of like you're adding negative 5, right? They mean the same thing. And that's why having a good strong feeling on our foundation on integers is important for high school math. But that's what you're doing, right? So if I had, I think this first example, yeah, is 4x plus 2. Well, if I'm going to add the negative of it, or the opposite, right? So the opposite of this would be just change the sign on the 4 to be negative and on the 2 to be positive. Okay, and I say the y's, they're just like the subtracting an integer. Okay, so that's what we're doing. Okay, I don't really care if you show it to me this way when you do your solutions. I'm going to show you this in the first one. So what I've got then is I'm subtracting this polynomial right here. I'm going to add its opposite. Subtracting a number is the same as adding the negative, right? So I put plus, and then I put minuses, like I put the that becomes minus and that becomes minus, right? And then get rid of the brackets, just like when we were adding, collect the like terms, and you end up with your answer. Okay, so that's what we're doing, but the way I'm going to show it to you on the next page, I just think is a easy rule to go by, okay? But this is essentially what's happening. So we're going to do this one, and the key thing is what I have here. What you actually do when you're subtracting a bracket, when you're subtracting a polynomial, what you do is you get rid of the brackets and you change the sign of every single term inside of it. Every single term inside of it gets in the opposite sign, and then you're fine. Okay, so let's just see that in action. So I rewrote it because I wanted to remind you that if there's this is an unnecessary step. I only chose to do it because I want to make it very clear that 2x is really plus 2x, right? It's not clear that there's no sign written. It's implied that it's positive. Okay, so that's the way it is right now. When I get rid of my brackets then, when I eliminate these brackets, I'm going to change that to minus, change that to plus, and, well, you'll see. Okay, so got rid of the bracket. I'm minusing plus 2x, which is minusing, right? And minusing minus 6 is adding. That's really what I'm doing, right? You change the sign of everything inside. Then you collect your like terms, and there you go. Okay, so you get rid of the bracket, you change the sign of everything on the inside, and then you collect your like terms and follow through like we did before. Okay, so another one. This is longer, but it's really the same thing. Keep in mind that 4x squared and 2x are not like terms. You can't add them in any way. They're just, might as well be an x and a y. You can't do anything with them. I did this step again. Again, it's unnecessary, but it's me reminding you that 3x is the same as plus 3x squared, sorry. So I'm going to get rid of my bracket, and the 3x squared becomes negative. This negative 5x becomes positive, and this minus 9 becomes positive. Okay? The next step, when I try to collect my terms, so I bring this minus 3x squared over here. That's why this is negative. It's negative because it's following the minus 3x squared. This plus 5x follows this, and the plus 9 plus 9. So the sign always follows. See, that's plus 2x because it follows that. Okay? Then you just do your adding or subtracting to get 4 minus 3 is just 1x squared, 2 plus 5 is 7x, and 1 plus 9 is 10. Okay, that's it. That's it for today's lesson. So again, any questions, let me know, and we'll practice more tomorrow.